Witam Państwa bardzo
A
serdecznie.
very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure. Well, if you allow me, first I'll introduce myself and our panelists. I would like to thank you greatly for staying till 5:15. You will not regret. And I would like to thank all panelists that you agreed to come here and meet us. It will be practical, to the point, and I think it can be highly emotional because we will not be talking about futuristic things, but about what we can do here and now and how to earn on it for our soil to be healthy and so that we produce healthy food. So let me introduce all panelists. Madam Professor Anna Gałązka, Institute of Fertilizing and Soil Science in Puławy. Thank you for introduction and also a very warm welcome to you. And now Ms. Agnieszka Romanowicz. She came here from Brussels. She works in the European Commission, deputy head for implementing live projects. Agnieszka, did I miss something? So generally, you also will suggest how to get money from Brussels. Yes, I will do my best, at least within the range of what I know. Well, you can
Chętnie wykorzystamy. Dziękuję bardzo.
share information. We will gladly use it. And Professor Bartłomiej Glina, I would say the chair of soil science, and now it's chair of microbiology, and so no, soil knowledge and microbiology. Poznań Natural University, my university as well, and Mr. Artur Wyczling, the operational director, Biogen. Can you add something? I'm very glad that we are in such a big bunch, apart from the late hour and the whole delay. Well, so a farmer from Puławy, and now president of European Carbon Farmer, member supervisory board to European Soil Mission, advisory, not supervisory. But first of all, a farmer, by all means, a farmer who was first called for sharing experience in various processes, and then when I started understanding how the processes work, so then I started looking for opportunities to share the experience and giving other farmers a chance to share this because it is needed. It may sound like grandmother. I remember you this size when, together with your dad, we were going to study trips. You were visiting farms in Europe, and I saw you were ready to do something more than being just farmer, just simply work on land. Yes, and those trips were also informative, and generally trips and meeting people, a key initial role in changing something on my premises. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'll introduce myself, Walerowska, as far as I reach with my memory, and I have spent some years in Top AGRAR. Well, it's my 19th year in Top AGRAR, so I'm very glad if you know Top AGRAR, and I hope today I will convince you to get to know it much better. We are starting debate, so we are moving on to the point. Healthy soil, healthy food. But recently we hear about microbiology. We talk of microbiological products. We can be actually sharing lots of things. I'm looking at Madam Professor, but one thing is basic. I think no aware farmer needs to be convinced that healthy soil is a foundation. It's a workshop, but now various prospects appear. And let's start from the fact, how big is the interest in farmers in eco scheme, microbiological protection of soil, and now actually growing plants? So thank you for the question, and I'm glad that we started from microbiology because it is extremely close to my heart. And I must highlight at the beginning that awareness of agriculture in microbiology of soil and microbiological life in soil is great, and it keeps developing. And the fact that now so very actively we pay attention at microorganisms in soil, their role and sense of their biodiversity and presence is extremely important. And as you were kind to mention here about the new eco diagram, eco diagram after lifting, yes, a post-lifting eco diagram joined also by microbiological preparations and specifically fertilization microbiological products. It is a new option of eco scheme related to biological plant growing, and this is also a very important point, proving of the need to apply microbiological preparations and following this, subsidizing it. And this year, practically since the 15th of March, you can, that means all farmers can apply for such funds after application. Well, can you mention the amounts? The amount is just below 500 zlotys, but it is a small amount, but it is also very well reasoned regarding application of this type of product, because applying microbiological products and specifically fertilizing microbiological products, a farmer who buys such a product, and what is very important, it must be a product included in the list of fertilizing microbiological products. How many projects are on this list now? Such a list is kept by Institute of Fertilization and Soil Science, which I have a pleasure working in. And today, at the list, which is currently publicized on the webpage of the Institute, there are 298 products, so almost 300 products of great variety, containing both microorganisms, being bacteria, fungi. These are individual groups, can be mixed products applied both for orchard plants, fruit plants, and also for small gardens. A very wide range of products with confirmed microbiological composition. Applying such a product, the person buying it may get compensation applying for it at the Agency of Restructurization and Modernization of Agriculture using this eco scheme. So this confirms that applying microbiological products with soil health in focus is very important. So soon we will move on how to do it in practice. At the beginning I did not mention that you will also have a chance to speak. So most welcome. If we talk too much, raise your hand, jump on the stage, ask our attention and ask the question. So now, Professor Glina, please let me do it informally, Bartek, because I have known you and we did a lot of uncovering in the soil, but microbiological products and generally what does it mean healthy soil and how to recognize it is sick, and so specifically it will be very specific. So what Madam Professor said, so microbiome of soil, it is one of the elements, one of components. Please remember, soil is a very complex system which must operate effectively, and it guarantees what we are all after, maximum harvest. And we mentioned microbiology, but there will be no healthy soil without physics, which results from natural effects like parent rock. And here in our country we have very, very big differentiation regarding parent rocks, because this is a result of iceberg which mixed all what in Scandinavia was pushed to here. So we have clay, silt, sand, and therefore it is so complex, a diagnostic approach and then establishing strategy, which way to go to obtain this optimum healthy type of our soil. Physics, if we go deeper, chemistry of soil, then it focuses very strongly on microbiology. What is the percentage of fungi and bacteria, and this focuses on building material resources of our soil, because this is the arms which can best influence the health of soil and influencing its productivity. So if we are talking specifically of fertility, if the soil is working properly, main role is to satisfy the nutritive needs of plants. All what are practically present in the ground, which we bring to soil. So fertility of soil is the capacity to satisfy the nutrition needs of plants. Thank you. It was supposed to be practical. So how to diagnose that the tree is sick? So we did many uncovering. So at AGRAR, and how to diagnose it? Of course, it is good to dig trench, but just watching the surface of the field tells us a lot, especially now when we have lots of satellite images. We can see the plants looking on every piece of the field. We already see places which for us are hypothetically, potentially an element giving us the right to think that in that place our soil may need our intervention. If we choose such places, then it is best shallow trenches, taking samples for soil tests. We have laboratory tests, but at site ordinary tests with a stick or a knife to check density of soil, pH test. So they are one-to-one translated into what we obtain in laboratory. Development of root systems tell us a lot. Yes, I wanted to say it is enough to take a spade and go to the field and look. It is a simple tool. Everybody has it. Not everybody has so good looking like mine, because my spade is pink. But you see that roots are actually running to the sides, and crops are dropping. Something is happening in the field. And when we talk of microbiology today, we'll talk a lot about this. So evaluating the character of the pimps, if it is pink inside or not, they are very small. So
Wrócimy jeszcze do tego tematu. Natomiast teraz, panie Arturze, jest przedstawicielem.
So, as you are representative of the company, for many years have been dealing with microbiological products. I heard your father telling recently what the products were, how they changed a lot, but the question is different. Aren't we making a mistake applying microbiological products, or what mistakes we make most often, or you may say we do not make those mistakes? By all means, I will agree that many errors are made for sure. Many errors are actually committed on consultancy or in production of microbiological products, because as it was mentioned, we talk of almost 30 products, 300 products on the list, and here a problem appears. Which of these products is practically good quality? Then we have the stage of implementing the product already at the farm of the agricultural producers, and very often we see that advisory in application and time, a way of applying here, it is sometimes wrong. When we as a company every year carry out tests in cooperation with 150 agronomers in this country. I must be dynamic. We agreed that it is family climate. Maybe we not all know each other so well, but actually it is true that it is not simple. There are lots of myths, but also it's about a few facts. What are we doing wrong based on your experience? First of all, we must remember foundations. It is most important. Microbiology is is an element which can give us additional benefit, this support to technology. Therefore, we talk of hybrid technologies, be it fertilizing or plant protection. We must provide some foundation. Is it fighting for appropriate pH, appropriate structure, and the foundation regarding fertilizing? So aren't these wonderful means? They are not means which will solve all the problems. Yes, they are solutions which will support us, give us really big benefits, but provided we first take care of the foundations which have to be regulated in our soil, pH, structure of soil. And if we talk of health of plants, we talk of hybrid solutions. We are building the hybrid solutions. We combine them with fungicides. We have compatibility tested. A lot was mentioned that biological solutions must not be combined with fungicides. Not quite so, and it's not a question of the active agent, but many times the carrier and dose of preparation. We have to have all that tested. We prepare such compatibilities year on year. We test our biological solutions in compositions with conventional solutions, and thus we get best solutions with, at the same time, reducing fungicides or in hybrid fertilization, reduction of application of fertilizers with, at the same time, applying microbiological solutions. This gives very good results, not only, well, actually, we are reducing nitrogen fertilizer. It gives us comparable result with control objects without reduced dose and without microbiological solutions, but many a time we can obtain still better results compared to this conventional technology. So a specific question. Please tell me, based on an example regarding fungicides or herbicides or insecticides, are there any groups in the middle which cannot be combined with microbiological products? There's no easy answer. Therefore, we make the whole list of compatibility. Regarding herbicides, insecticides, here after testing a specific group of specific products in doses specific, little can influence blocking development of, well, in case of fungicides, 90% in the doses of interest for us is not blocking development of microorganisms, but there's 10%, and it's not a question of the active substance alone. It is also a question of carrier, dose of preparation. Sometimes the preparation together with microbiological solutions in 100% may be blocking development of microorganisms, but in 60% condensation already not. And in hybrid solutions, we are after reducing the dose and not applying 100%. Well, but a question, a lot was said that biological products are not able on their own to provide so high effectiveness as traditional products and plant protection means. So what does it look like in hybrid solutions? In hybrid solutions, as I mentioned, we are able to obtain effects which are identical. Let's assume we apply 60% dose of a fungicide plus a bacterial solution. We are able to obtain the same results and many a time even better compared to 100% dose of the fungicide applied. And these studies we carry out year on year. Here an important element is selecting the variety, although we actually carry out tests on prone varieties, because if we take varieties resistant to diseases, today we must not look single-sidedly. We must look at the whole production and the whole farm more broadly, look at the varieties and use all what we can. Yes, as I mentioned, we start from foundations and then we are able to really include microbiological solutions to the technology and obtain very good results. Regarding foundations, Mateusz and Agnieszka, please be patient, because you deal with money globally, so I will leave you as icing on the cake for the end. Mateusz, I'm looking at you and thinking, regenerative farmer. So something what happened to be a marketing approach, but you are proving it's not quite fully so. And the second question, what we have been doing so far, what most farmers were doing, were we doing it wrong? Now regenerative farming takes a different dimension, or is it only semantics? Thank you for these questions. Very simple and complex at the same time, because the main idea striking us is it depends. You talk like a politician. Well, this is a kind of conference.
Tak, wiem, dlatego cieszę się, że jestem tutaj.
But here we talk specific. Yes, that's why I'm glad, because talking specific, I can share the experience later in cooperation with people who are experts in various areas, and actually that
I może zacznę od tego, jak my
groups into some semantics. So we, I understand, we do regenerative farming, which comprises 5 areas of action, from the simplest to implement to the most difficult in case of a farm which exists. Those areas are firstly optimization of use of means for agricultural production, and in this area we have been so far. So what is your pH? Is your fertilization appropriate? And how did you change the doses by using biological preparations? And this is this entrance, because if I start acting here, firstly I can generate savings which influence my profitability, and therefore I can start doing more. And this more is for further areas of generation. So minimizing working the soil with no dig introduce if possible, but also creating this foundation for living soil creation. The third area is related to minimization, covering plants, covering soil with plants all through the year or as long as possible in the climate conditions.
Czwarty obszar.
And the fourth area, biodiversity within the field or changing crops or around the field. And the fifth area, that means fitting the farm into ecosystem. So if I have
tam cały czas siejemy, coś próbujemy uprawiać, to być może
water deposit areas which we drained and then increasing resistance to climate shocks rather than wasting money for these. So when I'm listening to what you're saying, the first basic thing we have to do, generally as farmers, as a society, I guess a certain mind jump and approach. But let me ask, can somebody who have a plow and are still plowing can be regenerative farmer? They can apply this. If you have potatoes, for example, it's hard to avoid having a plow. So me too. It's not so that if you are using a plow, you are not a regenerative farmer, and the one who is not using a plow definitely is one. No, it's not that simple. But in most cases, especially in Polish conditions, weather and crop rotation, and we have to use less plow. We put our plow aside in 2004.
Teraz do pieniędzy. Najpierw zapytam Mateusza. Powiedz mi proszę.
And now back to money. Let me ask Mateusz first. Please tell me, how is it? Because each of us, I should be convinced by something what will let me earn on something. Maximization of crop. We are producing a lot of superb food, but the financial result is basis. Well, it would be best to sell it at a good price, but not always successful. But how can you earn on regenerative farming, and what to do? I will revert this question, sharing with you my experience. Thinking of this question, I have a slogan in my head, which is, if agriculture is not earning money as a profitable business in that number regenerative approach, because we are talking of it, it will not be done in a money-earning way. then it doesn't have a longer right to live. Farmers are mainly doing it to earn money. So the main factor, possibility of changing the farm or entering regeneration and development
usług ekosystemowych i innych, które gospodarstwo generuje.
of ecosystem and services generated by the farm, is liquidity. Financial liquidity. Today we heard a lot about security, financial security. Many farmers, many of you were saying that this is one of the elements causing this instability, uncertainty in funding results in a lack of will to invest, to develop. So it is by all means understandable, but I think that financial stability would be a convincing element, convincing to regenerative farming. For me and reality of our farm, we are in a highly blessed situation. We are in the EU, we have common agricultural policy, we are very rich, and
Po pierwsze, bardzo duże
we have firstly very big money in UPR historically and currently. The money is shrinking, but generally global farmer, be it talking of Brazil, Argentina, Australia or New Zealand, by all means, they do not have such sources of funding as a European farmer, Polish included. And
dotacyjne, dopłatowe, polityczne.
looking at all these subsidies, money coming from this policy or other, we view them as an opportunity for transformation of our business model. If they are, because they are the period within UPR greatly, but can we tomorrow, if the money runs short, if it is not available in the market, agricultural policy will change, it will. So are we able to survive as a farm? Our farm would definitely lose a great proportion of the income, of the revenue, some 35–40%, but we are able to survive in the market. We would not want this, but we can survive in the market. Actually, slogans appeared when last year farmers were on strike and they were saying, down with Green Deal and down with UPR, take the subsidies away. We will be producing based on market grounds. But if it was not for the EU, we would not be here where we are. Agnieszka?
I nam wszystkim zdradzić.
You have been in Brussels for quite a time, so please reveal to us what our Brussels officials have in their minds, what they want to give money to our farmers, where from to obtain this. Thank you very much. So, as you mentioned, family atmosphere, I know that not everybody read our brief bio notes. I am after melioration at GGW University. I have a diploma and I'm a PhD from melioration, and I work at these institutions for 20 years, and unfortunately I can see one thing. If we are not at both sides, I mean us officials, we are Poles, we are not representing any party, but we know our region, we know our needs, and there is no state, I mean at the other side, citizens, institutions, organizations, NGOs and government institutions, universities, and we together are not saying our colleagues from Italy, France and Spain, it will be difficult. I'm saying this because I don't know how many people present here
Zapytanie do obywateli instytucji.
realized that Commission created an inquiry how we want the next years to look like. So today, Commission, did you obtain such an inquiry? So maybe, Agnieszka, it is a moment to later contact participants to our debate, not only debate, but also participants, and make it possible for them to answer. Yes, because really, if organizations do not write to the Commission within this consultancy, I don't know what it is, social consultancy, yes, and so our voice will disappear somewhere, and here I would like to appeal to you. You can write it in Polish, it doesn't have to be in English, so every citizen can open it, and every organization. I do encourage you
było już powiedziane,
Because as it was mentioned here, we don't know how EU policy will develop, because there are those three largest problems:
żywność,
power sector, food, and safety, security. So this is for the future, and I do encourage you, if you can,
odpowiedzieć. Natomiast co dzisiaj?
if you get such inquiries, please do answer. And what today? I represent a program named LIFE. It is dated 1991, and it is focused on financing environment and climate. Today we have energy in it. It's a program which got developed very strongly, but it has three basic elements which give us great power as institutions, citizens in every member state. Firstly,
Każdy może
everybody may address us, a company, a person representing a company, or a farmer, if legally and financially is able to present a project. Those projects are as you want them. It is not so that you have to,
w dużym konsorcjum
in a large consortium, write everything in English. No, you can write in Polish. We evaluate these projects in the shape as they appear with us, and we have consultants in every member state, so these projects can be continued in Polish. And whom should we approach in Poland? Whom should we contact in Poland? Mateusz, maybe? I do advise you National Environmental Protection Fund, because on the 8th and 13th of May, if I'm not wrong, there will be special meetings in Polish where I will be participating in one of them. We will be presenting exactly what will be announced on the 24th of April, because our nearest calls open up next month, and how to file
w Narodowym Funduszu
to the colleague in National Fund of Environmental
więc kompletnie sam.
Fund. They will help you, advise you how to write a project. Agnieszka, does it mean that an individual farmer can approach you and say, Agnieszka, I go in? Yes, they can. If it is a company.
O, jest pytanie.
Oh, there is a question. So maybe let me repeat the question, please.
W którym może rolnik
Point at the program where individual farmer can file an application. In everyone, because even in scientific projects, there may be a farmer, but then the farmer is part of a consortium, because those projects there have three beneficiaries, and we can have one. We have families, family companies, but we also have BAS and Siemens, very large companies who come approach us for the same money, competing with.
Mateusz?
W polskich górach jest projekt Karpaty łączą, jeżeli dobrze pamiętam, UNEP Grid.
In Polish mountains, there is Carpathian mountains are joining, and there are farmers who get money from LIFE program, for example, for mowing meadows in traditional ways in the mountains. I know such farmers.
Czasami tak.
Well, sometimes yes. I think we are not talking here about the gray zone, but Agnieszka. So there is specific money for this. Yes, here is specific money, specific opportunities, and there is no language barrier, because then we have a lot of programs which are sub-programs, scientific programs. There is mission soil, and there you unfortunately have to do it in English. You have to be with other partners, joint with various member states partners. There are subsidies, but it looks different, and there are other requirements. Thank you very much. So we were talking of money. When we talk of money, let's go back to Ecoschem, and let's return to let's revert the situation a little bit. because if already we want to earn, first we spend money, we apply microbiological products. Madam Professor, please tell me how to apply them well, apart from the fact that we will earn because I'll obtain money from eco scheme, so that the effect on plant, on the soil is visible. What can we expect? It all depends on what products we reach for and what will be microbiological component in the product. As I mentioned at the beginning of our meeting, well, in composition of such products, we may have both bacteria and fungi of various kinds and various metabolic properties. We can expect obtaining effect which is at the side of microorganisms, for example, in the form of binding nitrogen. It was mentioned here, Professor recalled bacteria from rhizobium and a symbiosis with
znany praktyce rolniczej.
Myślę, że
Od
przebadany
wielu lat
wzdłuż i wszerz.
stosowany, nawet jeszcze
well,
tych preparatów nie było.
and tested in the market and microorganisms.
Bardzo znaczące efekty, bo w przypadku bakterii z rodzaju rhizobium ten efekt może sięgać nawet
So in rhizobium, this effect may be
zarówno przez wolno żyjące bakterie z rodzaju
well, both by free living bacteria like rhizobium or nitrobacter. This is an important aspect regarding benefits for plants which microorganism can implement. Other example is bacteria solubilizing phosphorus, making it available for plants, participating in various, producing various growth substances, hormones, which are made available to plants and evoking their growth. The whole group of microorganisms, which are so-called microorganisms promoting growth of plants, so giving availability both of nutritive components or substances evoking growth because in various conditions, because these are microorganisms improving growth of plants in drought conditions or excessive humidity, where microflora
roślinie. Takich aspektów jest
oxygen less. Such aspects, because there are silolytic, amylolytic microorganisms, really many aspects evoking metabolism are in those microbiological components, but also fungi like trichoderma or mycorrhiza, very important symbiosis regarding plants, which gives very important spectacular effects regarding growth of plants. These are main points which are important from microbiological side, and they are actually present in microbiological products. But what my predecessors mentioned, to apply microorganisms and to apply microbiological products in soil, it's first of all the soil should be appropriately prepared. First of all, from pH perspective, no microorganism will work well in acidic soil. So we have to take care of stabilizing the pH of soil only to such soil to introduce microorganisms. And well, we talk specific what pH is optimum regarding bacteria. Then pH every above 5, so it would be best to be at the level of 6.5, 7. It would be great if we apply fungi. So acidic pH is needed. Whereas generally regarding acidic soils, we advise applying lime so that pH is appropriate for the whole range of microorganisms, and this is also based on increasing biodiversity so that those microorganisms develop well and are in greatest amount, most of them promoting the growth. Well, Arthur, yes, how are you?
Tak,
I can see you got inspired because,
Bartku, pytanie...
well, Bartek, a basic question. Soil microorganisms, a very important role of them. Many a time we mentioned it, but there is a basic question. We talk of pH. Recently, a friend asked me, good, I want to apply microbiological the pH is not right, so I can apply lime and apply the product. No, we have to wait for the result because we have a leap by 1 unit up. pH is only one element because it is relatively easy to be regulated, but talking about money, which we mentioned, well, competitiveness of a Polish farmer, this competitiveness results from soil. If soil works properly, it's healthy, everything works in it perfect, then we are looking for savings there. But to find these savings and to benefit from them, first you have to invest, and we have to invest in diagnostics of soil. So testing pH and the forms which are actually possible to be inhibited by plants, but we must go deeper into analysis, studying the complex of the soil, natural storage, but going deeper into the soil. And do not let us test the humus, because root is at the very beginning, but it reaches down to 60, 70 meters down. And so let's get to know what is in our fields. Let me ask you a question. Who of you is doing the extended soil tests, absorption, Yes, Adam, we know everybody, we know Adam for sure, but a question. Yes, Adam. So what savings resulted from it? We like to talk about money. Adam, I will give you the microphone.
Dzień dobry. Na przykład, nie wiem...
Good afternoon. For example, 600... Adam Jurczyk I am, and we do regenerative plant and, well, a lot of bacteria. So 600 hectares, so an application of potassium was 18 kilograms per hectare. This was the result from tests. Exactly. So you saved, so practically with this investment, so with such an area like Adam, just a couple 100,000 zlotys put into diagnostics, and saving is in millions. Everything is in the soil, but it must be launched, and the plant will make use of it. So if we talk of fungi and bacteria in soil, building organic matter, we talked of pH. Hey, but so microbiology will not solve everything. Of course not. And when shall we be building resources of organic matter? When there is more fungi than bacteria. So when bacteria is 7 or more, then bacteria is dominated, but then we have components from organic matter for plants, but it must all be planted balanced. So mineralization is not bad, but it must be balanced with humidification, and then we can see increase. Recently I was approached by a farmer. I have been in regenerative farming for a couple of years, and after 3 years I stopped seeing increase of organic matter. So humus, it is, well, why did it happen? pH 7.2, 7.4, so organic matter, fresh matter brought in regularly, mainly in mineralization, is actually freeing mineral components, not building the carbon in soil. So regarding lime application, increasing pH, we must be aware it's not the only option increasing pH. When we apply magnesium, even sulfite, will it increase pH? Yes, because magnesium will go into the complex. Or if we apply potassium, yes, it will increase pH, because potassium will go into the complex and will push out ions from the complex. It is most frequent, but all fertilizers of cationic character, base character, they will also be regulating the pH. But Advocem, about what you said, correct me. How many soils are acidic in Poland? Well, roughly 60–70%, but let's remember the studies and results published talk about the first 20 centimeters, because because the Lucas project, European, only such samples are tested. And we often forget about one issue, that we have a lot of soils created on clays, gray, yellow, which have natural resources of calcium, white. So if water goes up, then the carbide is solving and supplying the humus. So if we talk of the upper layers, we have the acidity, but it's not the whole soil. And there is another myth which I would like you to either confirm or break. We say that soils in Poland have a low organic matter content, but depending on the rock our soils were made. So if we say we have to have 3% of carbon in soil, or if we talk of actually plants, I'm not talking regenerative, but common sense, long-term introduction of organic matter. What content of humus is an optimum for our soils? Well, we must organic matter, humus, and it tells us about different things. Organic matter is what is living in soil, what is dead and transformed. Don't let us talk of it. We measure this. We don't measure content of humus. We only estimate by calculation, and we calculate it based on organic carbon, easy to quantify in the soil. And let's see the situation. How much should be there? It would be fine to have 3% on the average in Polish soils. Can it be like this? No. If we have the levels in sand, poor in clay, or when we have it at the level of 2-3%, it tells us how much organic matter the soil will be able to keep, but it is not in the context of clay and heavy, because in clay we would have over 10, 12, 13% humus, so it is not achievable. And now back to this analysis. If we examine this organic carbon and we multiply it by 2, we have general matter, the general amount of organic matter. So there is a farmer bringing in fresh organic matter and takes sample. Then the sample is cleaned. We take out live roots and things we see with a blunt eye. But many of those elements we will not remove, and microbiome will not be removed, so-called biomass containing carbon. And we analyze this. So we have the whole pool, not only humus we talk of. This is still organic matter. Let's stick to this term, because for humus we must make very careful analysis, and humus and humin and well, somebody boasted, oh, I built 8% humus, and well, please show me the soil. So this type of thing. Thank you very much. I will do my best not to confuse humus with organic matter. But Artur, a question to address at you, because you have not answered fully. In a moment the floor will be yours, because you have not said how to well apply for the effects of biological products, for the effects to be as we want them. And the second thing, what to focus on, what we are buying, what to focus on, when do we know, or how can we know that it is a good product, that we can expect this effect. Briefly speaking, it is not actually cheating, because we have been in this market for a few good years, so we know that there are various products in the market. When should actually... well, I wouldn't like to talk bad about my competitors.
No od tego trzeba zacząć, tak? Od doboru właściwego rozwiązania.
But we have to start from this, from choosing the right solution. First of all, the origin. It is an introduction. I think light should be on, because fertilizer crisis in 2006 raised emergence of many companies declaring lots of quality microbiological products from super modern laboratories. Very often nobody had seen, and we don't know where they are. So
Akcją
we started a move of open days in a laboratory where we invited about 1,000 farmers. A pity you have not sent me an invitation, so we can send such an invitation, especially that 35 years of our institute is coming. We will make a conference in November, but it's a good opportunity. But back to this point, because I'm considering those elements are really many, but first thing, if I don't see composition on the label, is that something wrong? Well, it should be a signal. No, I think it is worthwhile to use the list of fertilizer microbiological products, because there are kinds of bacteria and fungi included in the product, and it's worth noting concentration, because on the label various things happen. Some people specify the quantities in grams or kilograms, so there are various tricks which are aimed at asking attention of the client.
Data ważności.
And expiry date,
Czy jest to forma
form of the product, if it is a stable form, are they live forms of bacteria? Because I came across a label that there are live forms of bacteria in the composition. At the same time, you can observe bubbles, swelling, so it is a natural thing, because live processes of bacteria are going on there, and some bacteria are dying out. So finally, quantities declared by the producer are completely different than what comes to the field. Another thing is way of storage of the products.
W przypadku tych form żywych niejednokrotnie.
What temperature range we have in live forms? We often talk of temperatures of storage between 0 and 6 degrees. What company can actually provide such conditions when transporting on storage? So there are other elements, and origin of the bacteria. Is it of origin, local origin, or is it from completely different geographic zone? And here these effects in our country may be completely different than, for example, in microorganisms coming from Spain, for example. These are completely different worlds. Spain, Andalusia, and here. And one question, then we will be back to errors made in application. Well, a question to Madam Professor. In the list is almost 300 products regarding new microbiological products. I understand that these products undergo selection. You write them into the list not without reason. But how do you think, how many products are in the market and how to approach them? Well, there are a real lot of products in the market. It's hard to say how many and how many companies are present in the market. Products which are in fertilizer list of microbiological products are those of microbiological purity. So this microbiological aspect, the biological component, is a clue of the product. So if there is a bacteria or the given type of fungi, or actually the base on which it is growing, it should not contain anything more. Microorganisms plus metabolites and plus the feed for it. Those which are in fertilizer list, they have confirmed condensation. And here, regarding bacteria, such a product must fulfill the number of, quantities, minimum 6 to the 7th, 10 to the 7th. Regarding the fungi component, it must be minimum 10 to the 4th power in gram or milliliter of the product, and it is verifiable and tested regarding tests of such a product. We do not verify its operation, so we do not confirm in any studies the fact of what the product is actually working for. Regarding advice from the ministry, only the component, quantitative component, is confirmed in the product. But in the market, there are a real lot of microbiological products, so-called mixed products, where apart from the microbiological component, there may be some other other components, among others humus, fulvic acids, or various types of other components like amino acids, growth hormones, something additional apart from this microbiological component. Thank you very much. And still, at the back of my head, I have the motto of our program, healthy soil. For you as a farmer, what do you do to keep the soil healthy? It's a living organism. It's not only a substrate which is producing this or other agricultural product, and my goal is to produce possibly greatest amount of the crop of the product, but it is a living organism which needs my care. So you are not plowing, I know, and
był pewien moment, w którym była mowa o tym, że
during our conversation, there was a moment, yes, fertile soil helps us to produce a lot of agricultural product. And the question we posed is a question, what can we do additionally? And please allow me to leave this question with you. Are you doing something on top of achieving the maximum level of crops or maximum financial crop per hectare to either reconstruct, rebuild the health of your soil, because if it is not healthy, it may not be, or to develop this health. And we were talking about money, highly specifically. There was a live program, European Soil Mission. I advise you this instrument within the budget of European innovativeness, because those big questions, what to do to develop it, or how, from the perspective of research institute, how to measure the health of soil, because this is what we have the European budget to answer these questions. And therefore I advise you European Soil Mission as a substantial invitation. Jung, very well known to all of you, is in the panel. My colleagues from Jung are in the audience, and it is one of those institutions in the EU, not only in Poland but in the whole EU, obtaining most funds within the budget of Soil Mission. What money are we talking about? We talk of millions per project. Well, 5 million euros. Yes, the EU. So in euros, yes, I confirm we have quite a lot of such projects regarding the institute, and we are the leader as institute in obtaining this type of projects, serving, of course, the agricultural practice. And how does it translate into agricultural practice, Madam Professor? Well, I think very strongly, because these are projects which are strictly dedicated to agriculture, which study specific problems, but also in a way the result of those projects are specific solutions, and also in the aspect of soil health, how to run the activities and how to apply fertilization and microbiological products. Aspect of these products are of great variety, and I think that the solutions which are achieved in these projects are not trivial, and they are very important for practice. Well, and I will give you the floor in a moment for discussion.
Dyskutuję. Nie, tata Artura. Tata
Well, Artur's father. Yes, father of us all.
ad vocem.
Well, ad vocem.
Pieniądze nie są...
Money is not for everybody, but you may benefit from money. You must make some effort. So, Mateusz, specifically, phone Jung, phone those people. Yes, Madam Professor, I'm calling now. Phone Jung, for example, Professor Grzegorz Mielec, and introduce yourself. I am a farmer producing this and that, and I am in Soil Mission. I am registered. Please remember about me, or can you offer something to me? This is how it started with us, because we as a company have a project funded from Horizon Europe, not Soil Mission, because there I'm in advisory council, European Commission promoting, so I must not actually promote things which I'm programming. That is money achievable, but you must take the effort. Is it enough to phone?
Zapraszamy na pewno na
Please be invited, for sure. Such direct conversation is very important, whereas in that type of projects, as you presented here, there is quite a lot of cooperation with agricultural cooperation. We go into such a cooperation, making fields available and applying those practices in agricultural practice, applying the given solution in the given field and so this type of interrelations between practice and science are applied here, and here a farmer obtains financial benefits. So giving the floor to Agnieszka for a moment, and now very quickly, if you want to go one step further. Oh, Mr. Minister, we will not finish soon.
Szerszą skalę, to
So, broader scale, I encourage companies who are present here, when you want to do something with farmers to a larger scale, really the LIFE program allows something like this because it is your idea and how to do it, how to introduce it, and we are able to finance it, to fund it. What we are using is so-called TRIER, soil emission horizon is the beginning, and we are between them. Then there is agriculture. And thank you very much for the possibility to ask a question. I have a question asking you for small farms. What a product do you have which we know could be applied and without so wide studies which you are proposing? Because here we hear about large farms, but do you think that a couple hundred hectare size farms can be ecological farms, or if they should be ecological farms, and how does it influence the soil? And the third question would be GMO plants, how do they influence the health of the soil? Well, dear ladies and gentlemen, well, so you ask the question, if we have this or that kind of agriculture on various size of farms, well, soil doesn't know whether it is within 1,000, 2,000 hectare size. It works the same way, and we will see the same positive outcome. All depends on our strategy and how well we establish the ceiling we want to achieve. If we exaggerate, we can harm it too. So therefore, the basic diagnostics is needed. So that much from me. I think regarding GMOs, plants, we do not need to worry. In Poland, there is no possibility to farm them. And I don't know if we should mix regenerative farming. Well, for sure, there is no limitation regarding size of the farm. Ecological farming can be applied in large and small farms, and here hectare limitations of the farm are not a factor limiting application of such farming. It is by all means positive in use, influencing quality and fertility of soil. So there are lots of studies of the Institute confirming that ecological farming positively influences increasing diversity of soil environment, but also biological activeness of but let's agree that we talk of seriously environmental. Well, you woke up. I have one more question. I don't know if organizers will allow us, because we are slightly behind time, but I will give the floor to you, sir. Thank you very much. First, I wanted to congratulate on the panel. With true pleasure, I have been listening to you. And as I came here from the panel devoted to agricultural advisory, so what you are saying seems to be so obvious. These solutions leading to better health of soil are so simple and obvious. So please tell me why the situation is so bad, why so many soils are actually in low culture, and what should we do to change this situation? I don't know if I introduced myself. No, you didn't. Andrzej Hałasiewicz, chairman of Foundation for Development of Polish Agriculture. Thank you for this input. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I think this is an excellent wrap-up for today's meeting. What to do? Why is it so bad? Mr. Minister, will it be a brief question or some reflection?
Pozwolę sobie trzymać.
I will hold the microphone. I must not be sitting when you are standing.
Bardzo dziękuję.
So thank you very much for this opportunity to participate in this very important conference or panel, in my opinion. But I would like you to define for me what is healthy food.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you very much. And I guess we will not leave soon. And you, madam, too. So if we could first ask for the answer, what to do, very specific question, what to do for all soils in Poland to be good. Here we have to play psychologists, how to get to farmers who sometimes see results in their neighbor and still blindly continue their wrong technology. So, as I said, change the way of thinking. And I thought a lot what to do for the subject of soil to enter more strongly. Maybe at the ministry we could think about subsidies for testing the soil, because pH, and it's not enough, because we don't know how to define strategy of the soil. This is the way, because sometimes it is very difficult to actually talk to somebody's sense. And to your question, why is it so bad in Poland with the soils? Maybe I have a twisted opinion, because I visit farms which operate well with excellent soils. But unfortunately, it may be something up to 10% of farmers acting like this. But what to do to get to the rest, the remaining 90%? So let us end with, quality wheat is not a response. Not always it pays to invest so much if wheat costs 700, 750 zlotys. So maybe we should think of changing the plant rotation. So I'm convinced that in Poland, farmers produce excellent, healthy food. It may be still better. Of course, if we talk of rational fertilizing and rational management, so here crops are for sure good quality and they are healthy. Regarding strictly healthy food, we have to all the time take care of rationally applying plant protection means and fertilization, to study soil to avoid over-fertilization. What does it mean rationally? Rationally, it means first of all, for selection of nutritive components to be adapted to the state of the given soil. We must know what we are working on, what soil we are working with, to be able to appropriately dose the components which are in shortage. And we will not know unless we test the soil. So we have to select fertilization so as to adapt it to the needs of the given plant and to satisfy shortages in the given soil.
Jeszcze momencik, tutaj było jeszcze pytanie, drodzy Państwo.
And a moment, a question here.
Dobrze.
Good. So 2 questions, okay? I think you will survive a second longer dinner, but I would prefer.
Mówimy o zdrowej.
Well, we are talking of. Could you introduce Beata Kowalska-Kaszmider?
Interesuje mnie zdrowa gleba.
I'm interested in healthy soil and addressing Mateusz and Professor. We are talking of post-harvest remnants and microbiomes. What is your recipe for remnants of pesticides, heavy metals in the soils, which are there? And many farmers are not applying a healthy approach to leaving the post-harvest remnants. So what does it look like in regenerative farming, and what is the progress? of mulching.
Nieczęsto słyszę to pytanie.
Not often I hear the question, so my answer is not nicely structured. Thank you for this question. And back to this list of areas of operation regarding regenerative farming. If the soil is contaminated, I think if I had the situation, unfortunately, I don't have this situation. So firstly, I would be taking up action possible to somehow take the soil from the state it is in. What action should be taken? I don't know, because I don't have this experience. And secondly, I would not be producing food on this soil, going to the chain of value for a human, but I would be producing biomaterials. Good, so maybe I join in. And a perfect testing ground, it was south of Poland after a flood. Flood, a lot of inflow of river sediments, everything from fields goes there. So what to do? There are several ways. Most often phytoremediation is applied, so we introduce appropriate species of plants which have the capacity to accumulate heavy metals. If the situation is really very serious, we have to take off the contaminated surface of the ground and deliver it to appropriate plants. It's a very costly process. But if we are building organic matter, we have to be aware that all the pollutions in surface layers are combined, and they are not harmful for plants because they are not available for the plants, because they are bound with organic matter. But it's a very, very broad topic, and personally, I never came across such a question from farmers, because nobody is testing it. Contamination with heavy metals. We do it, well, because this is interesting for us. Mateusz, comment? Not a comment, but further substantial matter. In Poland, we have experts. Ms. Marta Pogrzeba from Silesia, she was in former edition of the advisory council to soil commission, the only Pole present there. So if you need more knowledge, it's the first name, Marta Pogrzeba. Thank you very much. Back to money. Well, Wojtek Stachurski, where from to take the money? Thank you very much, Wojtek Stachurski. Okay. Wojtek Styburski, Agrointegration. We run a group of producers, and here a response to suggestion by a professor. We are changing the awareness. We have to test the soil, where to take money for it, maybe from subsidies. I want to inform you, intervention 13.4, it's within Common Agricultural Policy. It is support for groups within quality systems. So 100,000 for only 5 farmers, 5 to 10 farmers, for them to be able to carry out tests, analysis, and we as Agrointegration apply this instrument for servicing farmers, and they are obligatorily covered with tests which we discussed with Professor. So we go into cations and much broader relations than macro components. So Ministry is giving specific support within the Common Agricultural Policy intervention 13 for 100,000 over 4 years, and you can extend it by additional 200,000 for 4 years to provide servicing for farmers. And this is within field production, but also animal production for groups cooperating within quality system. Thank you very kindly. I would like to dot the I, but as I extended the time a bit, I decided to hand it over to you to dot the I. Thank you for this pleasure. Let me only add and answer the question which was asked earlier, what to do to have the situation better. So maybe I will refer to hard life examples. In the past, we were penalizing children and praising them rarely. Maybe farmers should not be criticized, but also to those who have good solutions to be referred to, because if we refer to good, well, well-proven farmers, we will be benefiting from it. And very often in Poland, oh, I will not tell the neighbor because why he should have it so good as I have. So facts, 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 and hard work. Thank you very much. I would like to really say that it was an excellent dotting the I, and I would like to thank all of you very kindly for surviving till so late, that you were listening and asking questions. Was it substantial? Yes? Hey, thank you very much. So thank you very much. Thanks to all panelists, Madam Professor Agnieszka, Professor Artur, Mateusz. This was a great pleasure to meet you. And please remember, test your soil.